Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Point of View. Today, we're diving into breaking news. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk has been assassinated, leaving the world both shocked and divided. Coming right after 9/11, emotions are running ever so high. We've got a lot to unpack, and later we'll switch gears with Girlfriend's Guide and Mind, Body, and Soul with our co-hosts Sunset and Crystal. Welcome back.
Hey,
so don't you go anywhere. Come on in, join the discussion. You're watching POV. So let's talk about the news that shook the nation. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot during a speaking event at Utah Valley University yesterday in front of about 3,000 attendees. A single gunshot struck him in the neck, and he was pronounced dead shortly after. Authorities are calling it a political assassination. The FBI released images of a person of interest wearing a hat, sunglasses, and black clothing, and is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. So the question is, can public figures ever truly be safe in today's political climate? And what do you all think about what occurred? There's a lot of silence.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna say on my show, on my podcast, Planet Rock, come on Thursdays, 12 noon, envision-radio.com, I did talk about Christian nationalism. And I'm not quite sure what this Christian is that's going on, but I do know this. When someone speaks and someone behaves a certain way, we're to measure it to the word of God. Does it reflect the word? And I don't think a lot of this is really reflecting the word. And that's what's so hurtful, because it's like you're saying you're Christian, but then you're talking hate, you're talking violence, you're discriminating against people, you're being racist. There's a lot that's coming out, but none of that is what God says. At least that's not what I've read. Maybe other people read it that way. I have not read that because I don't think Jesus discriminated. And when people really get to themselves, they don't need forgiveness. You know, Jesus went to the cross so we can be forgiven. Jesus went to the cross to clean the slate for us, to wash us white as snow, that we would not be stained. And then when someone says these things, and then you have a nation of people that go with that, it doesn't seem to be a real reflection of being Christ-like. That's my opinion.
What I will say is that, I've been kind of up and down emotionally all over the place today, because I did see, the video of, when he was assassinated, because that's what it was at the end of the day. It was very gruesome. It's something that I definitely can't get out of my mind. And I'm just at a place where I thank God that I have discernment, that I can be empathetic to someone even when I don't have full understanding, regardless if he said, because so many people are saying, oh, he doesn't need empathy. People don't need empathy. It's not a real thing. He doesn't believe in it, blah, 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 blah. It is just an unfortunate event. And I just feel like so many people on social media and all across the country, maybe even the world, have just been rejoicing in the fact that this man who was a father and a Christian, whether people agree with it or not, lost his life publicly in front of, so many people. 3,000 people were watching. The whole world was watching, literally, because, it is gruesomely all over the place. And it's truly devastating.
Well, it's sad. We can have empathy. We shouldn't want people to die.
No, I think empathy is good.
We shouldn't want that.
Yes.
So if you don't have empathy, can you have the love of God in you?
Well, I'm gonna take that part out of it, right?
Okay.
I have empathy for the fact that, yes, a person has passed away. Where I don't have empathy is this is the same man who used his platform to say things about gun violence. And, we need a couple different things happening throughout the time so that we can push the picture. And then the irony to it is you're the example of your own saying.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that, Crystal, because I don't know the totality of who this person is, but I've seen a lot of race baiting things that he said, and that was enough for me. I have empathy just in general for people. I don't really have empathy for him, if I'm just being honest. However, I believe the question was, do people in politics are they ever really safe? My answer to that is no, and it's important for people to understand that what you say carries weight. So if you're going to feel so proud and boastful to say certain things, people are real and people have emotions. So the way that people get evoked, they're living in the real life of these race-baiting things that you're saying. And if they feel emotionally inclined to respond, you can't help how they respond. And I just want to leave it at that, because people think, they can say whatever they want to say with no repercussion. My love, people feel. And people feel evoked to act on those feelings. And some people just take it there. So you need to be careful and mindful of what you say. And that's
and I think that definitely goes to each and every one of us.
Yeah.
Even us, we sit up here on this table, on this platform nightly. And even sometimes I go home after I've said certain things and I'm like, dang, I shouldn't have said that. And I pray to God that I'm not held to that. And so I do extend that same grace. I know that he said, way worse things than I've ever said on way bigger platforms. But at the end of the day, I just feel like it's not right. And we are daily, each and every one of us, even though I never really felt like freedom of speech really existed. Exactly. It's just really showing that we do not have freedom of speech. And, I just pray that none of the things that any of us have ever said would be held against us. But it also really deeply bothers me that people consistently are always trying to hold someone else to a higher standard than they actually live up to themselves.
That part is true.
And that's every day.
That is every day. I think what he was good at, and that's where...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So since Charlie's death, there has been a lot of videos that have surfaced that speaks volumes to his true character, as they say. So let's take a look.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Exactly what I just said. But to that note, he also knew how to bring attention. And in media, in the world, and we know the saying, good or bad, you're going to see me, right? And he used that to his advantage. Now, the irony to it is that it all came true because everything that he said has now come to pass. Do I wish that on the other man? No. But at the same time, he knew how to bait people. He knew how to bring the eye to him. And even though...
But is that what we're looking for, to bring an eye, or we're looking to be
the world
honest?
we're in now, yes.
But is it just really about being honest?
It should be about being honest. It's just not the reality.
Because you're speaking into people's lives. Yes. People react to these things. So is there no responsibility?
There is a responsibility.
I just say things. I want people to look
but we have a felon as a president.
Yeah.
It's all better.
I was going to say that.
But then I also want to say, to the clip that we just saw, just so that I'm making sure I'm understanding properly. So is he saying that it's important for people to die annually by guns?
What he's saying.
So that we can be able to have guns.
Yeah, and protect.
Correct.
Right. And so what I want to know is, even though people should not die, my understanding of that is that if things didn't happen, people would forget. What he's trying to say is that people will forget that we actually have this right and that it is an important right. Maybe that's what he's saying. Or
No.
I mean, that's
I
not
think that he's saying exactly what he said and how he said it.
Well,
And
the
crazy
power of
thing
life
is,
and death is in the tongue.
outside of what he
Correct.
just
Like,
said,
let's not
that same
negate that.
statement that he just made. Let's say this man did not pass away yesterday. Children passed away yesterday. A lot of children passed away yesterday.
Sure.
There were school shootings yesterday.
So do we believe that we should not have guns?
I think that we should have responsible people.
That's not what he said. What
That's
he said
not-
was
yeah.
there needs to be deaths through gun violence
So that-
the Second Amendment will be protected. So I guess so we don't forget that we
Yes.
need to have the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Well, I believe I need my guns.
So yeah,
I mean, should universities how do you think they should have handled the security of controversial speakers?
if you're going to be in the public and the public has access to you, there's no amount of security that's
That
going to
can save
protect
you.
you from that.
That part.
When somebody feels and they feel proclaimed, like you do something to somebody, that's why I'm very careful on how I handle people.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if once they leave and they marinate on how they feel, you don't know what somebody is capable of when you speak to that demon in them, when you speak to what they're going through, when you invoke that emotion that makes them feel like you're talking directly to them. That person is responsible for doing a lot of dangerous things.
And a lot of people were saying, just speculation that, it could very well have been a parent, a father, a sibling of someone who may have lost a child to gun violence.
Correct. They felt evoked.
But my only part to that is don't be a coward when you do it. If you're making a point, if you're trying to prove a point, don't kill someone and hide. That's just like, it's no different from the terrorists that do things and then you want to run and you've taken an entire kindergarten class away, yet you're running. No, stand in the paint, prove your point, say what you're saying, but that doesn't give you the right either. I'm just saying, don't be a coward too, because that's a coward that did it.
Stand on what you say.
Exactly.
Just
You're a
stand
coward
on it.
that did it.
What about when? What was my question? I had a question. That now the Republicans are saying that the Democrats. This is
Oh,
what
please.
the Democrats.
Oh, please. Let's
Political
stop it.
warfare is
Yeah.
not my. I'm not
Like,
involved.
who
I'm
cares?
involved.
The Democrat, Republican, who cares? None of them are for us, for the people anyways. So what are we talking about? Like, next.
That's what
They're going to use it for any portion that they can to
Right.
push whatever narrative that
Yeah.
they can.
Wow. Well, y'all, that is. We're going to have to take a quick commercial break. But don't you move. Girlfriend's Guide, Mind, Body, and Soul are coming up right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching POV. Hey y'all, happy Thursday. Thanks for sticking with us on this quick commercial break. We have a question for you guys at home, as well as one for us at the table. And so the question is, what's your favorite viral moment from the internet?
I'm going to give it to the dude from the Honda dealership where the money resides, where the money resides, who jumped out of his truck.
No, I remember that one. I think I have to say mine is, you've been promoted. You're now that one, you're my top employee. I
love him.
Mine is the one where she said, well, I think they were at a hotel and he was like, it's above me now. Like, it's above me now. Y'all come to me with so many issues. It's above me now. I use that every day.
Oh my gosh, I don't have one. I don't. Well, I don't think I'm on the internet like that enough to like really pick one that I thought,
Okay, I'll give you one. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
That is.
Listen, y'all forgive Raquel. Others in the show, Raquel lives in a beautiful Audi bubble, okay? She don't even be in with the world. But y'all can catch her on what's your podcast? Planet Rock. That's where she be at when she ain't here. But y'all don't go nowhere. We're right back to the show in a few seconds.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get into all things love, life, relationships, and everything in between. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide. Today on Girlfriend's Guide, we're shouting out a bride who totally broke the unusual wedding traditions. Instead of tossing her bouquet, she shared a beautiful moment with her single wedding guest. Talk about celebrating friendship and breaking the mold. Take a look.
I always said that I wouldn't just throw my bouquet, but I would give every girl that came to the floor a part of the bouquet. And so that's what I want to give you guys today. And I just want to encourage you to trust the Lord in your singleness. Okay, His timing is perfect. He knows what He's doing when it comes to you. You are valuable. You are precious. You are loved. Your identity is not in a ring. Your identity is not in a relationship. Okay, your identity is in Jesus Christ. And so let this rose that I hand to you right now just be a symbol that Jesus loves you. He'll always love you. He'll never change His mind. I always said that.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
amazing.
That is beautiful.
I absolutely love that. I feel like I would do something just like that.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah, that truly blessed me. I feel like that's like a prophetic act.
Yeah.
And just to speak life into them. And, you know, I follow this amazing prophet on Instagram. That ain't just what she be at, though. But she has a fast called the Year of the Bride fast, and she talks about God restoring, the scripture that talks about God restoring the voice of the bride and, you know, the bridegroom. And so I think that that is so awesome. And even in that, you know, so many of us desire to, you know, if we haven't been married or we want to be married again, to be a bride. And I think that it's so important as believers to, you know, see the value first in being the bride of Christ. So I think that was so sweet that she did that.
Yeah.
I think it was something that can definitely carry on to the next person. Throwing the bouquet is nice, but that's all.
Yeah, it don't
It's
hold
just
value. I think
right.
that's
It
so
doesn't have a
traditional,
value
but
to me.
we lose the reason why we do things. I'm not a traditional person whatsoever because I feel like traditions are just somebody created something that meant something to them and people just regurgitated it. So I'm not big on traditions at all. I'm big on meaningful moments and making valuable connections.
Yeah.
So whenever I have a chance to connect to people, especially my friends, I'm always making sure I'm making those connections and being intentional.
Yeah.
So I love that she was super intentional with her friends. I think that is super, super good. And I think people should start adapting that when it comes to wedding. Stop making it about the actual wedding and make it about the actual union. Like, let's talk about how we got here, the people in the room, how we're so connected, how people are coming to celebrate love. Like, let's get back to the true meaning of why we're here versus the actual ambiance of it all.
Yeah.
But you know
'cause
what?
some of it becomes such a show.
Yeah.
Where's the love?
Where's the love?
Where's the community?
Yes, let's
where's
get some PowerPoints of when you guys started and like show all of that. Like, I love all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that too. And it makes me think of, you know, just in loving what you said, the only issue with that would possibly be that so many people don't have a real love story. And so many people are getting married that aren't in love for real. You know what I'm saying? So if
Absolutely.
we move on to creating that new tradition, boy, you might as well just go to the courthouse.
Well, they already
show.
doing that. They already
So what are
doing
they
that.
getting married for?
They're already
Some
doing
people
that,
get married
though.
for a wedding,
Yeah.
not to be married in union and love. They do it for the event.
But do they know this?
Yeah, of course they know this, but in at that moment, it's, oh, I love you, and then the moment you walk, you go on that
Of course
altar.
they know it, because if their focus after and before is and was not to be a husband or to be a wife,
Absolutely.
it's pointless. And so
But
many
does it
people-
really matter though? Like, I think it shouldn't matter. Like, how I want to celebrate my love versus Raquel versus you versus, I think we should all have our own lanes on how we want to decide how to celebrate our love that literally impacts us in our everyday lives, in our real life. I don't think, this is why I don't like tradition. I just don't think it should be something that, oh, this is how a wedding is supposed to be and everybody adopts it. I think you should have your own individualized perspective on how you think your wedding should be, and then just do just that. That's what I think.
No, I agree with that as far as the wedding, but I think what I was talking about or thinking of is after that, the marriage, you know what I'm saying? And I think that there should be, I don't know if it's a reenactment of a home economics or whatever's going on, but something needs to happen because we need to get back to the fundamental premises, whether that is biblical, which I believe it should be, but whether that's biblical or not, there are so many things that are missing in the family unit and the household because we just don't know. Everybody's doing something new that they've never seen before with no real rules. And then 30 days later, we're trying to see if we can still get an annulment.
Well, okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, speaking on biblical, like again, measure it up to the word of God. Yeah. Get your Bible out, measure the actions, measure the words, measure it up because the Lord say, judge by the fruit. I don't know why we're not.
They think the fruit is the money. They think people think that. What you mean? Yes, that's what they think.
Well,
wait, what you gonna say?
No, I ain't gonna say I don't. No, remember, I'm not traditional, so
okay.
I'm not gonna speak on things that I just feel like. Sometimes I just don't have a comment because that's just not my world.
Yeah.
Like I know God from a different sense. I don't know Him through the Bible, so I don't speak on certain things that I have not until. That's all.
Okay. But we still value your perspective.
Yeah,
no,
for sure.
Of course, I value my own, y'all.
Yeah. Well, I know that's right. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next segment, and this is the part of the show where we pause and reflect on what really matters: our peace, our growth, and our purpose. Let's get into mind, body, and soul. Tonight on Mind, Body, and Soul, we're asking a question that hits deep. Do you really know who you are without your job, your titles, or the roles everyone else defines for you? Do you?
Who are you? I love that. I ask people that all the time. I said, describe me and do not use any titles. Describe who you are to me without any titles.
You do that?
Yeah, because I do a soul surgery session with people where I pour into them and show them like how they value themselves. Like, do you value yourself based on what you do for others or what you can do for others? And then you can see how people really don't love themselves. So I used to do soul surgery sessions with people, and it's 60 seconds. You have 60 seconds to tell me everything you don't like, everything that you wish you could change about yourself.
Yeah.
And when that 60 seconds is up, that's all you have. And 60 seconds goes, and I want you to pour into that person. And you have to look me in my eyes. And do you understand how difficult that is for people?
Wow.
I've had people literally break down right in front of me.
Wow.
And this is just a 60-second thing. I'm just asking you to talk about yourself.
And how's that work? Because it's like, who are you when you're not a mom, a wife,
no wife,
girlfriend,
no
or daughter?
girlfriend, nothing, just you.
It's a question
and they
that really
realize that
challenges.
they don't even know
Wow.
themselves.
Without all of that.
Without all of it, they don't know themselves.
I thank God that at a young age, I kind of, I always felt like an old soul. So I felt broken early. And I remember as a child, I read this book, Broken China. It was an amazing book. I probably was like 12 or 13. Love that book. And from that book, I began to, allow God, but even in my own, just in the natural, begin to like put the pieces of me back together. And so I think that in that, it allowed me to know myself early. And then you know how it is. You get in relationships and long-term stuff, and you have kids and all these things, and you begin to lose yourself. And so now I'm back at a place where I'm me again, and I feel me, that person that, was even after the brokenness and all these things. I feel her growing and kind of resurfacing. So I'm excited about that too.
Feel?
It feels empowering.
It feels so
it really
good,
does.
doesn't it?
You know, one thing that I can say happened over the last about year, going on 2 years. It took me being broken to really figure out who I am. Because you will, again, relationships, whatever, you will lose yourself, and you don't even know that you lost yourself because you told yourself, this is you. I'm maturing. This is what I'm supposed to be. And then once all of that smoke clears and the rainbow comes out and the sun is shining and it's shining on you, then you can say, wow, I really did lose myself. Now I see, well, Crystal likes to smile. Crystal likes to laugh. Crystal likes to joke. I lost so much of that. All I saw was sadness. I can look at pictures of myself over years.
So reclaim.
And I saw the sadness in my own eyes. And I'm like, that's not me. I don't even recognize her.
Wow. So reclaiming yourself and your identity when everyone else sees you only in a role, that reclaiming came from getting out of that relationship.
Yes. And
The brokenness.
It took me, because sometimes that's what happens. You have to be broken.
I was just
You have to be broken because you don't see anything wrong until you're broken.
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand too, like people think that they're the same version of themselves. And I tell people, you're gonna evolve and change, and you have to take time to get to know yourself in every stage.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things too. Some people are like, oh yeah, I love myself. I'm like, okay, do you still like the same things? Do you still do the same things?
That's why we
Then
change
you don't
friends
know yourself.
so often.
Yes, then I'm like, you don't really.
We could have been Ace Boon Coons at 16.
Yeah,
well,
but
you
now-
stayed at 16 and I became 40.
Yeah.
Correct.
We are not in the same place
Right,
anymore.
right.
I still love you.
Yeah.
But we're not in the same place. So to what you said,
Yeah.
absolutely, that's the truth.
What about as women in society and expectations that it puts on us as women in trying to know ourselves?
Absolutely.
Like, who are we?
Absolutely. I think society puts a lot of pressure on women to be who they want women to be.
Yeah.
Women comes in this all size, the same shoe size.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we all are so different.
Yeah.
And society just puts pressure on women. You have to be married by 30. You have to have the kids. You have to do this. You have to do that. I'm like,
And you don't have
slow
to do
down.
none of it.
I don't even know.
Right.
I don't even know this woman right
Yeah.
now. So I'm like, mm-mm.
Right. Getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
I do want to say really quick, I know we're almost out of time here, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but the conversation, what you're saying, it made me think about India Arie, and I'm so grateful to have grown up in that time where we got to listen to that
Yes.
music. I mean, from her songs talking about I'm not my hair.
I am light.
I'm telling
That's
you,
my
oh my
song.
God, okay?
Come on,
Listen,
come on.
and I remember I saw a couple months ago, her mom was saying that, she was actually molested by her dad as a child and all these things. And so even, like, I know she also had another song that talked about, like, relearning everything that you thought you already knew. And I remember when I heard that verse, it kind of just like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
I thought I knew me, but now
Yeah.
I got to learn all over again. So we don't got time, but y'all
Thank
check
you.
her out.
Thank y'all. This is a wrap for today's episode. But before we go, we'll leave you with a quote. Leave the noise behind. Listen to your soul. Thanks for hanging out with us on POV. And don't you forget, you can catch us Monday through Friday only on AFRO TV.